It took 5 years to fundraise and finish Dexter Fire Department's last station, a miniature museum dedicated to remembering Dexter Fire Department's history. 7 News reporter Gage Kilborn joined the department for their ribbon breaking on Sunday.
After decades of not having a final resting place, the historic 1929 Brockway fire engine finally has a home that took over 5 years to fundraise and build.
It's going to be the last place that these pieces of apparatus are stored, so we're calling it the last station.
The project, starting back in 2019 for the 90-year anniversary of the truck, was meant to give the vehicle and other pieces of Dexter Fire Department's history a dedicated home. Located next to the Dexter Historical Society, this new museum of sorts houses the truck, Dexter's first female firefighter outfit, and a plaque dedicated to the men and women who gave their lives for the Dexter Fire Department. The department built the last station to keep the history alive for future generations.
Things change, but we want to make sure people don't forget what's happened in the past.
The project needed fundraising, and for years they did just that. Eventually, they were able to exceed their original fundraising goal by raising around $145,000. Alongside all the hard work to fundraise, the committee had to work through a pandemic to keep their minds focused with the task at hand.
The idea to build the last station came in 2019 as a way to dedicate the 1929 Brockway. The idea would not have been possible if it wasn't for one firefighter who said 2 words: what if?
Craig Tucker, a longtime firefighter, just passed, and one of his sayings was, what if? And we kind of built on that. You know, what if the fire district decides to build a different building somewhere? What if there's problems with the Dexter Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated?
This simple phrase helped to build a home for not just the 1929 Brockway, but also the 1865 hand pumper, their first fire truck at the Dexter Department. Although the Dexter Fire Department and Historical Society could not be more appreciative of all the donations they've received, the job is not done. The last station is still in need of some donations for interior furnishings, display cases, a backup generator, and various others to fully have the last station restored. Gage Kilborn, 7 News.